Distinct clause. What is this clause for and how it can be used? Let's learn more about this clause. Distinct eliminates duplicate values from a sequence. Or in other words, it returns the unique values from a sequence. This clause can be used alone without anything. This means, we don't need to set any expression or condition or anything else. Only the clause. Before start explaining this clause, let me remind you that I am talking about distinct clause, not distinct method. I will explain distinct method later in the course. For now I will only talk about distinct clause. It's very important to know that, because distinct clause can be only used for arrays, lists and strings. It cannot be used for data tables or other data types. But distinct method can be used for any data type. So, the first 2 points you have to learn about this clause are: it returns the unique values from a sequence. It can only be used for arrays, lists and strings. Let's check some examples to see how it can be used. I have the following integer array. It contains different numbers. Some of these numbers appear more than once. Assume I want to get all numbers from this array that are smaller than 5. To do that I can use the following query. It's very simple query to filter the array. This query returns the following array that contains these numbers, which are smaller than 5. But this array contains some duplicates, and I want to get only the unique numbers. For that I can use distinct clause as following. As you see, I didn't write anything else with the clause, only distinct. In this case, I will get the following array as output, which contains the following numbers, that are smaller than 5. Now each number appears only once in the output array. So, how does this clause work? As you know, the query up to this clause returned the following array. Now using distinct clause, this array will be filtered. As output from this clause, I will get the unique values from the array of the previous clause. So, distinct clause filtered the sequence of select clause. I can also set distinct clause before select clause. The output will be also the same. This happens because distinct in this case will filter the array of the previous clause. So, I got the following array as output from where clause. Distinct will filter this array to get the unique values. The output of this clause will be the following array. Select clause will then select only the numbers inside this array. So, the output is the same. This means also that we don't really need to use select clause in this query, because we already got the result we need before executing select clause. I already mentioned in the previous videos that we don't always need to use select clause, depending on the query we have. In this query we don't need to use select clause. The output will be again the same. I can also use distinct clause directly after from clause. In this case, the input array will be filtered. As a result of this clause, I will get the following array, where each number appears only once. After that, where clause will filter this new array. As output from this clause, I will get the following array. This will be the output of the query. As you see, I got the same output in all queries. So, you can set distinct clause at any position in the query. You only have to make sure where to use it, because the result of each clause will be used in the next clause. In all these queries I got the same output, because the query is very simple and contains only one condition. But in complex queries the result could be different, depending on the position of distinct clause. In summary, you can use this clause at any position in the query, but it must be after from clause, not before it, because there is no data before from clause. This is how to use distinct clause in such queries for arrays or lists. Let's now check another example for data tables. As mentioned, we cannot use this clause for data tables. I have for example the following query. Here I use distinct clause. I will not get compiler error or any error during the execution, but this clause will not do anything. So, we cannot use this clause to get the unique rows of a data table. But we can use this clause in another way, if we want to get the unique values from a specific column. For example, I want to get only the content of column first name as an array. And I want to get the unique names as output. So, I don't want to get the duplicate names. The output should be a string array. To do that, I can use the following query. As you see, I am selecting the content of column first name. After that I use distinct clause to get the unique values from this column. At the end, I am converting the output to array. As a result, I will get a string array that contains the first name from all rows of the table. Each name will appear only once. This is how to use distinct clause for data tables. I could use it in this query, because I am not filtering the rows, but only the content of a specific column. Only in such cases, distinct clause can be used for tables. That's all you have to know about distinct clause. The previous examples were about integer and string arrays. But you can use this clause for any data type you may have, like date time array, double array, decimal list, time span list, and so on. The main thing is that you are using the clause for arrays or lists. And keep in mind, this was distinct clause, not distinct method.